Alrighty folks, welcome back to the 1/5 scale Waco build. This is part 5, and we're going to continue right where we left off by mounting the top wing. That was definitely the most challenging part of this build. The anticipation of this being the toughest part is definitely correct. It took me 2 attempts to get this, took me 2 attempts and a whole day and a half to finally get this top wing in a position that I'm finally satisfied. As you can see, the dowels filling the holes where I previously drilled. So the first attempt didn't work because I took the wing jig out too early. And that is, as soon as I got these terminals where I thought they would be, I just went ahead and took it right off, which I just hot glued it on. And then to get it removed, I just used the alcohol stuff. I'm sure a lot of you guys know that alcohol just totally takes off hot glue. But besides the point, I took that off too early. And because of that, everything was just messed up. The alignment wasn't right. I had to bend these struts way the heck out of where they wanted to be just to get them lined up and all that sort of good stuff. So it just wasn't working. You know, for the first attempt, screwed this all on, had to bend the struts, and all the measurements were off, you know. And that's the biggest thing that takes so long to get this right, is you have to measure almost everything. You have to measure the wing is centered this way. It's not tilted up and down, or, you know, the distance between the bottom wing is the same, so your end struts are going to fit. And then obviously measuring the middle pin there, the actual twist or tilt, I guess. So at one point got so frustrating that I just thought about throwing this thing against the concrete floor, because it was just like, man, I feel like I'm wasting my time here. It just took so long. But I am at a place now where I think it is good enough. It is not 100% on. I think I'm off a 1/16 of an inch as far as measuring from tip to that pin. But for the amount of time I screwed with this, that's good enough for me. The main thing that is correct, that I think is the biggest thing, is the incidence is right on the money, according to this meter. So we are good to go there. But anyway, yeah, this was definitely frustrating. I really do see why now kit building biplanes suck. I was warned that, yeah, you're going to have a hard time, and now I see that. So I don't know if I ever want to build another kit biplane again after doing that. But besides the point, these are tack glued in place right now, but I will get these soldered on and all that sort of stuff. So anyway, top wing is mounted and all that sort of good stuff. So they do use these wood screws here to or stock to get the kit, but I really want to use blind nuts, so I'm going to go ahead and get some blind nuts in the wing. And just like the bottom wing, I'm going to put some hard plywood backer, because the wood is just balsa, and it's definitely, well, you can see it's already kind of crushing there. With that, there's a distinctive crushing there, so I need to replace these with plywood and all that sort of stuff. But in any case, the wing is situated and it is now ready to go. So anyway, on to the next. Alrighty, so while my anxiety was cooling down on getting the top wing mounted, I decided to get the tail all sanded to shape. As you can see here, we've got that kind of shape that they want on the plans going on. This will give us a nice ribbed effect with the covering and all that sort of stuff. And so yeah, both the horizontal stab, vertical are shaped. And as you can see, I've also slid in the hinges. They're not C8 in place, or they're not glued. The hinges are not glued in, but they are just in there for, you know, because I felt like doing it. And yes, I am using CA hinges, which I'm sure a lot of people aren't a fan of those, but these are the Radio South Pro hinges, and these are, I think, are the best CA hinges money can buy. And I have luck with CA hinges. I mean, I know some people say they're horrible and all that sort of stuff, but, you know, I like them, so that's what I'm going to use. So cool stuff there. Tail is pretty much ready to go. So we will move on now to probably mounting the cowl, which involves getting these tabs. Well, they want you to put, I don't know how to say it, but they want you to put these on the cowl first and then transfer the marks over. But I'm thinking about actually mounting them on the plane first. I don't know. I haven't fully decided yet how I want to get these installed yet. But in any case, we'll find out. And then we'll get the Gemini, or the 160 twin here, all mounted up. And then I'm going to start thinking about my canister exhaust, which I don't think I can use this. It is a lot wider than I anticipated. But this is what I kind of want to go for. I'm going to have to stretch these, obviously, into different areas. So it's going to take some, probably quite a bit of fabrication for this, my exhaust I want to do. But in any case, we should be figuring something out, and who knows, maybe I will be forced to go to stick with straight pipes. But in any case, we'll see. But let's go ahead and get this cowl onto the fuse and the engine all situated in place. So the cowl mounts, engine spacing turned out great, and we are good to go in that department. To get the proper cowling spacing along this cowl balsa ring here, I was able to find these two pieces of wood. That was the perfect spacing. Sat it on the table, slid the cowl over the two pieces of wood. Then obviously just made sure these cowl mounts were sitting on the wood guide, tack glued the mount to the cowl, then just drilled the holes out from there to get the cowl mount secure to the actual cowling. So that's how I did that. Then took the whole assembly over to the firewall here, bolted the engine on, made sure the cowling was all centered and all that sort of stuff. Tack glued the mounts into place, took the cowl off, drilled through the mounts, and then just securely screwed them into place, as you can see here, for the final fitment. So really happy how that turned out. And to achieve the proper spacing for the prop to not rub against the cowl, or basically get the engine spaced out far enough, I just used these 4 plywood spacers that I cut out, drilled holes through them, pretty obvious stuff, and they will work great. These are plywood, so they won't crush, so we will be good to go there. These will get fuel-proofed along with this whole firewall, in case anybody's wondering. I just like to wait to do that till the covering stages to get that done. But in any case, we have the cowl and engine all spaced out properly. So let's move on to the next. Next thing we're going to tackle is getting these two tail servos situated for the rudder and elevator inside the fuselage there, and then running the control hardware for the elevator and rudder. For the elevator, I do plan to use this Sulivan goldenrod, and that is because this, where the servo is going to sit to where the elevator is going to, there's going to be quite a, how do I say, it's going to be beneficial, I think, if I can get a little bit of a bend in this rod. So that's why I'm going with a flexible rod setup. Yes, I do know of the expand or the temperature deviations these rods tend to have, but I'm okay with retrimming. And then for the rudder, we just have a standard Dubro 440 pull system. Full scale Wacos are also pull, so I am going to try to incorporate that on this one. So cool stuff. But anyway, let's get the servos in place and get these tail linkage hardware set up. All right, so I have got the tail servos all in place and pretty much the linkages set up. The pull cables are pretty much as far as I can go with them until we get this plane covered, because I need to make sure the exits go where I want them to, and I think it would just be a better time to do that later on down the road. But besides the point, pull cables are run. I've got this end crimped and all ready to go. And then probably the biggest thing, or the thing I'm most tickled about, is this hidden elevator linkage. Works pretty darn flawlessly. But as shown in the montage or build portion, all it is just a flattened piece of metal or a rod that I hammered down wide enough to accept a 1/16 inch drill bit, and that's how I just installed the clevis, as you can see in there. So that's how that works, and that's all nice and hidden in this area here. Then the sleeve from the Sulivan goldenrod is temporarily glued in place. I will get some wood supports in here so it's stiffer. As you can see, I did have to remove a former to drill into this area here to get this to work. Now, in hindsight, what I really should have done is put these holes in before I even put this whole elevator saddle assembly together, or when I was installing these formers. But in any case, we were able to get it to work. And then the servo end just has a ball link that is threaded into a metal arm, and it works really good. So super happy with that and how this turned out. So I think this will look really cool when it is all finished. Have a nice scale-like elevator and rudder here. As you can see, I've got the pull control horns on the rudder here, and I've got a hinge to where it needs to go. I may put another hinge here, probably have to just for extra security, but in any case, this I think should work pretty good for a great pull setup. And then I do think we will be able to get this rudder or tailwheel push rod, steering push rod here, connected to the arm down there. I know it's kind of dark, but I think if I put it on the inner hole on that arm, I think we can have a pretty nifty steering setup, and I don't need a separate rudder servo. So hopefully that'll all work out. But in any case, that is what we got done, and we will move on to the next step. All right, so now that our push rods and servos are set in place, I think what we're going to do next is get this stringer area done and add the cockpit area here. I've got a few pieces over there to get the cockpit outline all shaped up. And then we'll probably work on getting this hatch, get our switch, or get a shelf in here so our switches can sit in here and make the door operational, you know, all that good stuff like we planned. So yeah, we'll go ahead and get kind of this turtle deck and cockpit area all put together. Alrighty, so we have finished the stringers for the top area here, and obviously, as you guys probably saw, got the door in place, as you can see here, and it works really good. This took a couple attempts to get it on the first try, or a couple attempts to get it on the first try. Took a couple attempts to get this right. I don't know if you can see or not, but I had to really twist this wood to follow the contour of this crutch here that turns in towards the tail here, you know, slenders down, whereas this had to stay flush. So this had to take some special bending, but with some time and sanding, this fits really good. So I was originally going to plan to have this hinged on top of here, but if I want to fit this flush, I need some sort of special type of hinge. I really don't know what the name is for. I'm sure maybe someone in there will tell me what it is, but I can't use regular hinges or any regular RC plane hinge, because if this gap is too tight, it will not be able to open more than probably that right there. So I think the plan, instead of having this hinged, is just have magnets in here and then just leave it as it is right now. And then just, you know, when I want to turn my plane on, just pop this compartment out and then turn on the switches and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, really, really cool. All right, so I think we're going to go ahead and end part 5 here, or at this status, because pretty much all that's left is just small little detail stuff. Making landing gear fairings like I covered earlier, dressing up the cabanes, and then pretty much after that, it's just sanding the whole thing and getting it ready for covering. So at that point, I think it's just stuff that a whole lot of people aren't going to be interested in. I know I wouldn't be interested in watching somebody sand a whole airframe for that part. So I think we'll wait to do part 6 till I'm actually ready to cover, which, speaking of covering, sneak peek on colors. Y'all can guess what that's going to be turned into. But yeah, all the major airframe parts are assembled. I think I said that in part 4, but this time I think they are really all assembled. I really did want to cover getting the servos in and the turtle deck area here, as well as getting my removable latch on documentation, because I did say that I was going to incorporate this, so I'm sure a lot of you had wanted to see that operation done, so we are good to go there. The other thing is, you can see here, the landing gear wires are soldered together. I did not get this on camera because, I'll be honest, this is the first time I've ever done this, and, you know, once again, I just wanted to make sure I did this right. And I think it came out pretty good. The joints do look really good as far as, you know, not the solder not being cold. It may not be the prettiest job ever done, but, you know, for a first time, I guess it's not too bad. So, and then after getting these soldered together, I did slip the wheels on, the 2 main wheels and the tail wheel, and did a maiden roll, LOL, if you can understand that. Maiden roll across the concrete strip there, and, you know, made sure it rolled fine, which this one rolls really well. So cool stuff there. And then another thing that came in the mail is this really cool Falcon 17x8, I think. Yeah, this is a Falcon civilian style prop. As you can see, it's painted to have like leather tips and then the rivets on it. It's actually not leather or riveted, it's just paint. But it looks pretty good, I'd say so myself. May not be 100% scale for a Waco, but hey, it'll at least look period correct. So really cool prop right here, and I think it'll really set this Waco apart, you know, to make it look just a little bit better. So cool stuff there. I'll have a link in my description for these props on Falcon's direct website. They have a ton of different size ranges for, I'm guaranteeing, almost every engine. So if you are interested in this prop, make sure to check my description and it will take you to that website. So yes, that will be the end of part 5 on the 1/5 scale Waco project. Remember to hit like, subscribe, and if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. So thank you all for tuning in to part 5 on the 1/5 scale Waco project. Stick. Yes, sir.